Alright everyone, this is the Relearning for Standard 19 Heat, Work, and Temperature. This was the first standard on the most recent test, and we're going to go through it pretty quickly today. On your sheet, please write down these three definitions. Temperature, how hot or cold something is. Heat, which is energy in transit. Internal energy, the total amount of energy in an object. Now this question came up on the test, how are heat and temperature related? The key here is that heat moves from things that have a high temperature, hot, to things that have a low temperature, or we call cold. So heat moves from hot to cold. What is internal energy? Internal energy is the total energy of a substance. This includes the kinetic energies of molecules and a few other things. The key to remember is that temperature is simply an average. If two things are the same temperature, they have the same energy per gram or per milliliter, per molecule. But if you have one thing that's bigger, the one that's bigger has more total energy. So, thermal equilibrium. This is a big slide, so let's read the first bullet point. So it says, two objects in contact with each other will reach the same temperature. This is reaching thermal equilibrium. This is the little lab we did in class. The final temperature will be closer to that of the object that has more mass. So if you have a small beaker of cold water is placed in a larger beaker of hot water, the final temperature that they reach at thermal equilibrium will be closer to the hot water. Why? Because whatever has the larger amount has more total energy or internal energy. Proportions. If you add the same amount of heat to twice as much water, the temperature will only rise 1/2 as much. If you add the same amount of heat to half as much water, the temperature will rise twice as much. Now why is this? Let's look at an example. So if you use a flame to add a certain amount of heat to 2 liters of water, and the water temperature rises 10 degrees Celsius. If you add that same amount of heat to half as much water, by how much will temperature rise? Well, from what we know, if you add the same amount of heat to half as much water, the temperature will rise twice as much. So the answer is 20 degrees Celsius. So the answer is 20 degrees. You have to have your headphones on to hear this. All right, that brings us to the end. There are practice problems on the back. Please do those practice problems and turn that into me, and that will be your relearning for this. Thanks very much, and good luck.